Who were the Celts? An exploration. Introduction. The term Celts refers to a diverse collection of tribes and cultures that flourished across various parts of Europe from the Late Bronze Age through the Iron Age and into the early medieval period. Their influence spread from the British Isles and Iberia in the west to the Balkans and Asia Minor in the east. Despite their widespread presence and significant impact on European history, the Celts remain somewhat enigmatic due to the limited and often second-hand nature of historical records about them. This essay will explore the origins, culture, social structure, religious practices, and lasting legacy of the Celtic peoples. Origins and spread of the Celts. The Celts are believed to have originated in the Central European region, particularly in the area around the upper Danube River, in what is now modern-day Austria, Germany, and the Czech Republic. This region is often referred to as the Hallstatt culture, named after the site in Austria where significant archaeological findings were uncovered. The Hallstatt period, dating from approximately 1200 to 500 BCE, is characterized by advanced metalwork, trade networks, and a warrior aristocracy. By the late Hallstatt period, Celtic tribes began to migrate and expand their territories, leading to the spread of what is known as the Latine culture, which flourished from around 450 BCE to the Roman conquest. The Latine culture, named after a site in Switzerland, represents the height of Celtic art and craftsmanship, with intricate designs in metalwork, pottery, and jewelry. Hallstatt culture. The Hallstatt culture is often considered the early phase of Celtic civilization. It emerged in the early Iron Age and is divided into four chronological phases: A, B, C, and D. The Hallstatt period is marked by the use of iron for tools and weapons, which replaced the earlier reliance on bronze. The burial practices during this period provide significant insights into the social hierarchy and cultural practices of the time. Richly furnished graves, such as the chieftain's burial at Hochdorf in Germany, reveal a society with a strong warrior aristocracy, where wealth and status were displayed through grave goods, including weapons, ornaments, and imported luxury items. The Hallstatt culture extended its influence through extensive trade networks, reaching as far as the Mediterranean. This facilitated cultural exchanges that introduced new ideas and goods, contributing to the development of the distinctive Celtic identity. Trade items such as Greek pottery and Etruscan bronze vessels found in Hallstatt sites underscore the wide-reaching connections of the Celts. Latine culture. The transition to the Latine culture around 450 BCE marks a significant evolution in Celtic art and society. The Latine period is distinguished by its more elaborate and expressive art style, characterized by intricate patterns, swirling designs, and the use of animal motifs. The craftsmanship of this period is evident in the surviving artifacts, such as the Gundestrup cauldron, which displays detailed scenes of Celtic mythology and ritual. The Latine culture spread rapidly across Europe, driven by both migrations and the expansion of trade networks. This period saw the Celts reach their greatest geographical extent, with their influence felt from the British Isles to the Balkans and even into Asia Minor, where the Galatians, a Celtic group, settled in what is now Turkey. Linguistic and ethnic identity. The linguistic aspect of Celtic identity is crucial for understanding who the Celts were. The Celtic languages form a branch of the wider Indo-European language family. They are divided into two main groups: the continental Celtic languages, which were spoken in mainland Europe, and the insular Celtic languages, which were spoken in the British Isles. Continental Celtic languages included Gaulish, Lepontic, and Celtiberian. These languages have largely disappeared, surviving only in fragments and inscriptions. Insular Celtic languages include the Gorodelic, Gaelic languages, Irish, Scots Gaelic, and Manx, and the Brythonic, British languages, Welsh, Breton, and Cornish. These languages have endured to varying extents and are a testament to the enduring legacy of the Celts. Continental Celtic languages. Gaulish was the primary Celtic language spoken in what is now France, Luxembourg, Belgium, and parts of Switzerland and Italy. It is known from inscriptions and references in Roman and Greek texts. Gaulish influenced the Latin spoken in these regions, contributing to the development of the Gallo-Romance languages. Lepontic was spoken in parts of northern Italy and southern Switzerland. It is one of the earliest attested Celtic languages, known from inscriptions dating back to the 6th century BCE. Celtiberian, spoken in parts of the Iberian Peninsula, is known from inscriptions and has provided valuable insights into the interactions between the Celts and the Iberian peoples. Insular Celtic languages. The insular Celtic languages have a more robust survival, particularly in the British Isles. Old Irish and Old Welsh are among the earliest attested insular Celtic languages, with extensive medieval literature preserving much of their linguistic heritage. The Gorodelic languages, Irish, Scots Gaelic, and Manx, have maintained a continuous tradition, with Irish Gaelic still spoken today and enjoying official status in Ireland. The Brythonic languages, Welsh, Breton, and Cornish, also have deep historical roots. Welsh remains a living language with a vibrant literary tradition. Breton, spoken in Brittany, France, is a direct descendant of the Brythonic language brought by migrating Britons in the early medieval period. Cornish experienced a revival after becoming extinct in the 18th century and is now being taught and spoken by a small but dedicated community. Social structure and daily life. The social structure of Celtic societies was hierarchical and tribal. At the top of the hierarchy was the chieftain or king, who wielded considerable power and was often a warrior leader. Below the chieftains were the nobles or warrior aristocracy, who were responsible for maintaining the military strength and social order of the tribe. The majority of the population were commoners, including farmers, craftsmen, and laborers. Chieftains and nobles. Celtic chieftains and kings were not only political leaders but also spiritual and military figureheads. Their authority was often legitimized by their association with the gods and their role in leading religious ceremonies. The warrior aristocracy served as the backbone of the tribe's defense, with warriors trained from a young age in combat and horsemanship. They were also responsible for upholding the tribe's honor and engaging in feuds and raids to protect and expand their territory. Gender roles. Celtic society was notable for its relative degree of gender equality. Women in Celtic societies could hold significant power and influence, with historical and mythological records indicating that women could be warriors, chieftains, and druids. Boudica, the queen of the Iceni tribe who led a major uprising against the Roman occupation of Britain, is one of the most famous examples of a powerful Celtic woman. Legal texts from Ireland and Wales indicate that women had property rights and could initiate divorce, highlighting the contrast with many contemporary societies where women were often more restricted in their roles and rights. Daily life. Daily life for the Celts revolved around agriculture, craftsmanship, and trade. They practiced mixed farming, cultivating crops such as wheat, barley, and oats, and raising livestock including cattle, sheep, and pigs. The Celts were skilled metalworkers, producing high-quality tools, weapons, and jewelry from bronze, iron, and gold. Craftsmanship was highly valued in Celtic society. Blacksmiths, goldsmiths, and other artisans were respected for their skills in creating both functional and decorative items. Trade was an essential aspect of Celtic life, with extensive networks facilitating the exchange of goods such as salt, metals, textiles, and luxury items. The Celts' strategic location along key trade routes enabled them to interact with various cultures, including the Greeks, Etruscans, and later the Romans. Art and craftsmanship. Celtic art is renowned for its intricate and abstract designs, which often featured complex interlacing patterns, spirals, and animal motifs. This art style, which developed during the Latine period, is seen in a wide range of artifacts, including jewelry, weapons, and ceremonial objects. The Celts' ability to work with metals was advanced, and their craftsmanship in creating ornate torques, fibulae, and weaponry was highly sophisticated. Latine art. Latine art is characterized by its organic and flowing forms, drawing inspiration from nature and mythology. Common motifs include spirals, triskeles, and zoomorphic designs. The use of these motifs was not merely decorative but also symbolic, representing concepts such as life, death, and the cycles of nature. The Gundestrup cauldron, discovered in Denmark, is one of the most famous examples of Latine art. This silver vessel, adorned with detailed reliefs depicting gods, warriors, and ritual scenes, showcases the Celts' artistic skill and their rich mythological tradition. Metalwork. Celtic metalwork is particularly noted for its high quality and intricate designs. Torques, a type of neck ring, were among the most significant items of Celtic jewelry, often worn as a symbol of status and identity. These torques were made from gold, silver, or bronze and decorated with elaborate patterns. The Celts also excelled in weapon crafting, producing finely made swords, spears, and shields. The craftsmanship of these weapons was not only functional but also artistic, with hilts and scabbards often embellished with decorative elements. Pottery and textiles. Celtic pottery, while less ornate than their metalwork, was practical and widely used in daily life. Pottery styles varied across regions, with some areas producing highly decorated ceramics featuring geometric and naturalistic designs. Textiles were another important aspect of Celtic craftsmanship. Wool and linen were the primary materials used, and the Celts were known for their skill in weaving and dyeing fabrics. Tartan patterns, now closely associated with Scottish culture, have their origins in ancient Celtic textile traditions. Religion and mythology. Religion played a central role in Celtic society, and their spiritual beliefs were deeply intertwined with the natural world. The Celts practiced a polytheistic religion, worshipping a pantheon of gods and goddesses associated with natural elements and phenomena. Each tribe or region often had its own deities, but there were common gods worshipped across the Celtic world, such as Lugus, a god of light and craftsmanship, Epona, a goddess associated with horses and fertility, and Cernunnos, a horned god of animals and the underworld. Druids. Druids were the priestly class in Celtic society, acting as intermediaries between the gods and the people. They were responsible for conducting religious ceremonies, preserving oral traditions, and providing education. Druids held significant social and political power, often advising kings and chieftains. The training of a Druid was a rigorous process, involving years of study and memorization of religious texts, laws, and genealogies. Druids were also involved in legal matters, serving as judges and arbitrators in disputes. Religious practices. Celtic religious practices were closely connected to nature, with sacred groves, springs, and rivers serving as important sites of worship. Offerings and sacrifices, including both animal and human, were made to the gods to ensure fertility, prosperity, and protection. The discovery of ritual deposits in rivers and bogs, such as the famous Lindo Man, provides evidence of these sacrificial practices. Festivals played a significant role in Celtic religious life. Seasonal festivals such as Samhain, Beltane, Imbolc, and Lughnasadh marked important agricultural and solar cycles. These festivals involved communal feasting, dancing, and rituals aimed at ensuring the community's well-being and harmony with the natural world. Mythology. Celtic mythology is rich and varied, with numerous myths and legends that have survived through oral tradition and later written accounts. These myths often involve heroic tales, epic battles, and supernatural beings. The Irish mythological cycles, including the Ulster cycle and the mythological cycle, are some of the most well-preserved and provide deep insights into the beliefs and values of Celtic society. The Ulster cycle, for example, features the hero Cu and his exploits, highlighting themes of bravery, loyalty, and the warrior ethos. The mythological cycle recounts the stories of the Tuatha De Danann, a race of supernatural beings who represent the gods of pre-Christian Ireland. The Welsh Mabinogion is another important collection of Celtic myths, containing tales of gods, heroes, and magical events. These stories, preserved in medieval manuscripts, reflect the interconnectedness of the natural and supernatural worlds in Celtic belief. Warfare and military tactics. The Celts were known for their warrior culture and fierce combat skills. They were formidable fighters, often engaging in raids and battles to defend their territories or expand their influence. Celtic warriors were typically equipped with swords, spears, and shields, and they were renowned for their skill in chariot warfare. Weapons and armor. Celtic warriors used a variety of weapons, including long swords, spears, and slings. Their swords, often made from iron, were highly prized and crafted with skill. The Tene sword, with its distinctive hilt design, is a notable example of Celtic weaponry. Spears were also commonly used, both for throwing and for close combat. Armor was relatively minimal, with warriors relying on their agility and skill in battle. Some wore chainmail, while others used leather or cloth padding. Shields, often made from wood and reinforced with metal, provided essential protection. Chariot warfare. Chariot warfare was a prominent feature of Celtic military tactics. Chariots were used to transport warriors to the battlefield, where they would dismount to fight on foot or engage in skirmishes from the chariot. The use of chariots demonstrated the Celts' expertise in horsemanship and added mobility and flexibility to their combat strategies. Headhunting. One distinctive feature of Celtic warfare was the practice of headhunting. Celts believed that the head was the seat of the soul and that capturing the head of an enemy granted them power and protection. This practice is well documented in both archaeological findings and classical texts. Headhunting was both a spiritual and a practical act. The heads of enemies were often displayed as trophies, symbolizing the warrior's prowess and the tribe's dominance. The belief in the power of the head extended to the veneration of ancestral skulls, which were kept and honored as a link to the past. Conflicts with Rome. Despite their prowess in battle, the Celts were eventually subdued by the expanding Roman Empire. The Roman military, with its disciplined legions and advanced tactics, proved to be a formidable opponent. Key battles, such as the conquest of Gaul by Julius Caesar and the defeat of the British Celts under Boudicca, marked the decline of independent Celtic power in Europe. Julius Caesar's Gallic Wars, 58 to 50 BCE, provide a detailed account of the Roman conquest of Gaul. Caesar's campaigns resulted in the subjugation of the Gauls and the incorporation of their territories into the Roman Empire. The Celts' resistance, led by figures such as Vercingetorix, demonstrated their courage and tenacity, but ultimately, they could not withstand the might of Rome. In Britain, the Roman invasion led by Emperor Claudius in 43 CE faced fierce resistance from various tribes. Boudicca's revolt in 60 to 61 CE, although initially successful, was eventually crushed by the Romans. The integration of Britain into the Roman Empire brought significant changes to Celtic society, including the introduction of Roman infrastructure, governance, and culture. Integration and influence. The Roman conquest did not entirely erase Celtic culture, rather, it led to a period of integration and cultural exchange. Many aspects of Celtic art, religion, and social practices were absorbed into Roman culture. The Romans were known to incorporate local deities into their own pantheon and adopt local customs. Romanization. Romanization refers to the process by which conquered peoples adopted Roman culture and practices. In Celtic territories, this often involved the blending of Roman and Celtic elements. Roman towns, roads, and infrastructure were established, facilitating trade and communication. The Roman villa system introduced new agricultural techniques and economic structures. The Celts adopted Roman dress, language, and architecture, while maintaining elements of their own culture. For example, Roman temples dedicated to Celtic deities, such as Sulis Minerva at Bath, illustrate the syncretism between the two cultures. Survival of Celtic traditions. In the British Isles, the arrival of the Anglo-Saxons and later the Vikings further influenced Celtic societies. Despite these invasions, Celtic culture persisted, particularly in Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Monastic communities in Ireland became centres of learning and preservation for both Christian and pre-Christian Celtic traditions. Irish monasticism played a crucial role in the preservation of Celtic culture. Monasteries such as Clonmacnoise and Iona produced illuminated manuscripts, such as the Book of Kells, which combined Christian iconography with intricate Celtic art. These monasteries also became centers of scholarship, preserving and transmitting classical and Christian texts during the early medieval period. Influence on European culture. The legacy of the Celts is profound and multifaceted. Their influence can be seen in the languages, art, folklore, and cultural practices of many European regions. The revival of interest in Celtic culture during the 19th and 20th centuries, known as the Celtic Revival, highlighted the enduring fascination with Celtic heritage. Celtic festivals, such as Samhain, the precursor to Halloween, and Beltane, continue to be celebrated in various forms. The artistic styles developed by the Celts have inspired countless works of art, from the medieval illuminated manuscripts like the Book of Kells to contemporary Celtic knotwork designs. Furthermore, the study of Celtic history and archaeology continues to provide valuable insights into the complex and interconnected history of ancient Europe. The Celts' emphasis on oral tradition and storytelling has also left a lasting mark on the literary traditions of the British Isles and beyond. The legacy of the Celts. The legacy of the Celts is profound and multifaceted. Their influence can be seen in the languages, art, folklore, and cultural practices of many European regions. The revival of interest in Celtic culture during the 19th and 20th centuries, known as the Celtic Revival, highlighted the enduring fascination with Celtic heritage. Celtic festivals. Celtic festivals, such as Samhain, the precursor to Halloween, and Beltane, continue to be celebrated in various forms. These festivals mark important points in the agricultural and solar cycles and involve rituals aimed at ensuring the community's prosperity and harmony with nature. Samhain, celebrated on October 31st, marks the end of the harvest season and the beginning of winter. It is a time when the boundary between the living and the dead is believed to be thinnest, allowing spirits to visit the mortal world. Modern Halloween traditions, such as costumes and jack-o'-lanterns, have their roots in Samhain practices. Beltane, celebrated on May 1st, is a festival of fertility and the renewal of life. It involves lighting bonfires, dancing, and rituals to protect crops and livestock. The maypole, a symbol of Beltane, represents the connection between the earth and the sky. Celtic art and literature. The artistic styles developed by the Celts have inspired countless works of art, from the medieval illuminated manuscripts like the Book of Kells to contemporary Celtic knotwork designs. The intricate patterns and motifs of Celtic art continue to be celebrated and adapted in modern jewelry, tattoos, and graphic design. Celtic literature, particularly the myths and legends preserved in medieval manuscripts, has had a lasting impact on the literary traditions of the British Isles and beyond. The stories of heroes like C.U. Chulerin and King Arthur, with their themes of bravery, loyalty, and magic, have inspired generations of writers and storytellers. Academic study and archaeology. The study of Celtic history and archaeology continues to provide valuable insights into the complex and interconnected history of ancient Europe. Archaeological excavations have uncovered important sites such as hill forts, burial mounds, and sacred groves, shedding light on Celtic social structure, religious practices, and daily life. Academic research into Celtic languages, literature, and culture has also expanded our understanding of the Celts' contributions to European history. Scholars continue to explore the interactions between the Celts and other ancient civilizations, revealing the dynamic and influential role of the Celts in shaping the ancient world. Conclusion: the Celts were a diverse and influential group whose impact on European history is still evident today. Through their migrations, interactions with other cultures, and enduring traditions, the Celts have left a rich legacy that continues to be explored and celebrated. Understanding who the Celts were involves delving into their origins, social structures, religious practices, and the ways in which they shaped and were shaped by the world around them. Their story is a testament to the complexity and resilience of human cultures throughout history. Thanks for listening. Like and comment. And please subscribe, as that will help us get more videos out to those interested in the Middle Ages. See you next time on Medieval Chronicles 1066. Stay curious.